Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Scrabble U by Palfly Kampling. So yes, for those who are newer to Sudoku adventure, Palfly has submitted Scrabble's A through U now. So we'll see what W, X, Y, Z is and whether the series ends there or continues. I don't know. All right, but let's go over this puzzle. We have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. So in each row, each column, and each 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. We also have this red line in the grid. This is a parity line. So digits along a parity line alternate even and odd. So if this was an even digit, like a 2, then the digit next on the line has to be odd, a 1, 3, or 5. Then the next digit has to be even, maybe a 4. You just keep going like that. So that is parity lines. And this we don't know whether it starts even or odd. We just know it alternates, just to be clear. We also have digits outside the grid, or values outside the grid, I should say. Those are exsums. And they represent the sum of the digits, the sum of the first n digits, where n is the digit right next to it. So let's take this 8. Let's say this was a 3. So that means we need to take these 3 cells, including that 3, and have that sum to 8. So we already have 3, so we need to add to 5. So we can just say 1, 4. So 3 plus 1 plus 4 is 8, and that matches. Now, if this was a 2, then this would be a 6 in order to make 2, 6 add to 8, because we'd only be using 2 digits in that case. If this was a 4, we'd have to use 4 digits. If this was a 5, we'd use 5 digits. All right, and that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself. And I'm going to get started right now. All right, I am going to just color this just to represent the every other nature of it. We don't know if green or purple is even or odd, but we know they're different. What can we do here? Let's think about a 6x sum. I think that's the first thing to think about. So first of all, you can't do a 1 next to an x sum unless it is also a 1, because you're always going to sum to 1, because you have to include the n itself in the sum. So that a 1 is always a 1. So that's not going to be a 1. A 2 would work. We'd put a 4 here. But the issue is that we're on this parity line, and 2 and 4 are both even. So that breaks our parity alternating. We're not alternating. They're both even. So the only option then is to do 3. We know 4 doesn't work because 4 cells at minimum add to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you sum that, adds to 10. So that's not going to work. That overblows our sum. So this has to be a 3. And then we know it's going to be 1, 2, 3 to add to 6. That's the only way to do it, with 3, without repeating. And so this is going to be the 1 and the 2. And we know that 3 is odd. So this has to be the even. So this is 2 and this is 1. So now we know what's even and odd. So let's just mark that up. These are odd. And these are even. And then we don't need the colors anymore. All right. So that's not 2. Let's see. The rest of this column is 4, 5, 6. We know the 5's involved here, meaning this isn't a 5. All right. This seems pretty high for this 8. Let's see what's going on here. So for 8, we can do 2, 6. That seems completely viable. It would make this a 4. But that seems okay. And then if this was a 3, we already showed that it would be 3. And then this would be 4, 1. And then 4 doesn't work because 4 would add to at least 10. Even if we could minimize it, it would add to 10 or higher. So this is 2 or 3. Now, that means that this is a 4 or a 6. This is not a 5. The 5 just doesn't work with the 2, and it doesn't work with the 3. Because 3, 5 is already 8. So that means that the 5 is placed. And then this digit, it doesn't necessarily depend on the 8. If this is a 2, this digit can be anything. So I'm thinking about this digit, though, because this is either 2, 6, making this a 4, or this is 3, 4, 1, making this a 2 or 6. Okay, so that doesn't help us. How about this 15 here? So, or we could do this 8. Actually, maybe this 8 is better because this isn't even. So I don't think we can do 3, 4, 1. We could do 3, 1, 4. We can't do 2, 6, though. So actually, that's what we have to do. We have to do the 3 here. 5 is too big, so that's 1, and that's 4 to finish the 8. All right. So we just get a bunch of digits. That's 4, which means this can't be 2, so that's 3 and 1. All right, I should have looked at that 8 first. I didn't realize. This is a 2, 5 pair. This is a 3, 4 pair. We know the order. That's 4, that's 3. And then over here, we need a 2, 5, 6. Okay. Take a step back. What's this pair? 2 and 6. Up here, we need 2, 5, 6. And then down here, we need a 3, 4. And we know the order. That's 3, that's 4. That can't be 4 now. All right, we have a 2, 6 pair. So this has to be 5. That makes that, I think so. Yeah, that's 5, that's 3. That's not a 5. If we had continued parity coloring, we would have seen that maybe a little easier, but it wasn't actually that hard to see. Maybe the 15 now. I'm going to pencil. Should I pencil the whole row? We need. No, let's not pencil the whole row. Let's just think about the 15. Actually, we know this isn't going to be a 1. So where's 1 in the column? That goes there. And that means the 1 is here, and we're done with 1s. All right, and that. Okay, I think this has to be a 5. It's feeling like this is 5 and this is 4 in order for 1 through 5 to add to 15. There's probably an easier way to think about the 15, which is what digits are excluded from our sum to 15. Well, if we think about it, the entire row always adds to 21. It's going to have 1 through 6 in some order, once each, and that's going to add to 21. So what's not included in the 15 sum is a sum of 6. So if we did a 5 here, then these would be part of the sum, and this would then be a 6, which checks out because 1 through 5 is 15. If this was a 4, so we'd only include 4. In fact, it can't be a 4. But even if it could be a 4, it doesn't work. Because in order for these 4 to add to 15, these 2 would add to 6, and that would only be 3 plus 3, which we can't do. Now, if we wanted to do 15 and 3, that doesn't work, even if we are ignoring the fact that this is 3. I mean, obviously this is a 5, right? We're done. But I just want to show that even if this was a 3, these 3 would have to add to 6. But the 2 is already used over here. So, but yet 3 would never work for 15 because the only way to do 15 and 3 is 4, 5, 6, which doesn't include the 3. Anyway, I've overdone this, but I thought I'd just point out how you'd think about that 15 if you didn't have all this other information. So this is our 5, this is our 4, this is our 6. All that for that. Right, that's 2 and 6, that's 2 and 5. That's 5 and 2 and 6, that's a 2. Up here we need a 4 and a 5. That's 4 up, so that's 5. This is a 6, we get 2 and 6, and we're done. All right, obviously I spent way too long on that 15. I just wanted to say how you'd think through that. And actually 15 can only be 4 or 5. But 4 was out because we couldn't make these 2 add to 6. The only way to do that is to put 1, 5 over here. So you'd put a 4 here, this would be a 1, 5 pair, and that would let you do 15 in 4. All right. And that is it. Thank you, Palfly, for Scrabble U. I'm looking forward to VWX. VWXYZ. So 5 more to go. Cool. And if you enjoyed this, why not leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.